Hi, everybody, and welcome to another chat with Mom and V. Um, we're reshooting. Yay! Long story short.
No, we better tell that story because
No.
somebody needs to
Yes.
get sacked.
Yeah, because they think they always blame me for delaying. And for once, I was very well prepared. We actually shot a
Yes.
few episodes on the same day
And finished
and finished.
completely.
Yes.
Uh-huh. And then after a week when we were now
Ready to advertise
putting it out there, they call me and they tell
just
me,
lost.
no, they wrote a long text. Long. The one you read, you're, where is this story going?
Yeah.
Where on earth is it going? And then they say, long story short, we spoiled the
The footage.
recording.
There's no recording.
So you have to repeat the
Yes.
recording. I said, let me tell you, that day, I said, listen, don't come to church, eh? The first thing you do, be out of my sight. Like, I don't, can you?
Don't look at me. You guys think she's joking.
Crazy.
Because how? After shooting and we were so tired that day, we had really taken time.
And we put
then
everything in it.
we put
really
all
did.
our energy.
We really did.
And we were talking about generations.
Yes.
Yes.
It was
Yeah.
unfiltered. It was just raw.
Unfiltered,
Yes.
raw. I think today will be better.
It must
Yeah,
be.
I mean,
It
God's
must.
ways are not our own. There's maybe
Exactly.
a reason that happened the way it happened. That
Absolutely.
today is supposed to be the podcast that we're giving you.
Yeah.
So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce our guest. We have a guest. Her name. Let her introduce herself. Actually.
Hi guys, my name is Shalom Wendo. I am so happy to be here again. So happy to be here again. This one is gonna be better, bolder. I can't wait. I can't wait.
That's beautiful.
So we're talking about generations, and you have three represented generations here. So Mom is Generation X, I am Millennial, and Shalom is Gen Z. Now, the reason we want to talk about this topic, the reason it was burning so much for me as one of the main curators of Chats with Mom and V, is the conversations that are happening currently in our nation that are constantly about Gen Z, Gen Z, Gen Z. Now, to be clear, this is not a place of jealousy or frustration. It's a discussion on understanding your community and understanding the generations and how we engage with them. So right now, politically, for example, anything that happens, you're like, oh, Gen Z. I'll be honest, half of them don't even know what's happening. You've blocked everyone who has anything to say about government right now as Gen Z, which is inaccurate. So I wanted to also clarify the political stance happening in our nation. Also, anything that involves change, Gen Z.
Right.
Also, anyone who's not agreeing with anything, Gen Z. Anyone who's hard to work with, Gen Z. So it's become a neutral term for frustration. I'll call it
Yeah.
frustration.
Yeah.
And there's reasons for it. And so we hope with the chat today will kind of expand more on the generations and the impacts they have, both spiritually, politically, and in the workplace. And I will talk from my perspective, understanding the workplace, and give more of a corporate understanding of the generations. And but we're also gonna have fun,
Yeah.
because
Absolutely.
Lady
Fun,
Bishop
fun, fun.
here speaks one language when it comes to generations.
Yes.
So, Mom, if you can start us off and tell us, what you understand about your generation, which is Gen X, and how that has impacted or shaped your thinking.
So Gen X, wow. When we were growing up as Gen X, we grew up with absent parents in that they were now both working. You see, before that it was just the men who were working, but now in our generation, the both the father and mother were going to work. So we basically knew house help. For those who could afford the house help, we had house help and aunties and who would come in and take care of the kids while the parents worked.
Yeah.
So we did grow up with absentee parents But they came straight after work, and then the discipline was the one.
It was
Yeah.
present. It was
Oh
never
my
absent.
gosh.
Yeah.
We were beaten for even suspecting that we were thinking badly about the last beating.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
Right.
my mom would come home. My mom was the disciplinarian.
Yeah.
Okay, so my dad was not.
Which
My-
was different for your generation.
very
Yeah.
different,
Very
because
different.
most of my generation, it's the fathers that were really beating on the
Hard,
kids,
right.
and very hard, and
Do you know why? Sorry, because of war. So the reason you had a situation where both men and women were in the workplace is because as men were off in war, women joined the workforce and contributed. And so after wars were done, then both families were working. So a lot of men were harsher and stricter, not only because of upbringing, but because of the real impact of war. And don't forget, even though
Right.
we're not European or Western, we had the Mau struggle that were finishing around the time Gen
Yes,
X
and the
was going on.
colonials.
Yeah,
The
and
things
the
they were
colonization.
exposed to.
Yeah.
The
So
things
the
they were
exposure
exposed
was
to.
harsh.
Yeah, it was crazy.
No, that's why.
So which is, and then you understand how your dad was different. This is, I brought this up for you to explain how different your dad was.
My dad was so different in that he was not a disciplinarian. Like, I can't even remember him beating us at all. He maybe did once, and it's the one of just
Quickly,
touching,
quickly.
like, stop it, like.
Right.
But my mother, if both of them were beating us, we would be dead, because my mother did good work
Yeah.
that represented not just my dad, but the whole.
Generation.
Oh, my mom was a disciplinarian, and she would just sometimes come into the house and say, "The hanuga bara." That that means I'm just smelling of war, smelling war. Meanwhile, we were so excited with my siblings. At that time, it was my sister, my older sister Jane, and my older brother Sam. So I was the little one, But she would still come and scatter.
You guys are just minding your own business.
We're
and
just
here
minding
she
our
is.
own business. Then let her hear us giggling, because we are kids.
Yeah.
So obviously you're even giggling. She said, "Eh,
What
you
else?
you are now
You can
laughing."
laugh.
Let me tell you, in a short while you'll be hearing it. We are all screaming
Right.
because she has dealt with us.
Right.
And then again, in our generation, we never talked back.
Right.
We never talked back to parents, even if you had something to say. Like, let me give you an instance. Say you are walking and you fell.
Uh-oh.
And you said, "Oh,
Uh-oh.
the question is, "Oragwa ne konyiha." That means you're falling because you are a child or what? Like,
Yeah.
what's making you fall?
Like, how dare you?
And that can earn you a slap. So you didn't say. You struggled with your falling, and then got back to order.
Yeah.
But it was that kind of
Culture.
culture. But then again, I must say this one. We had the most amazing childhood. If I was to say that my childhood was not good, I would be lying.
Yeah.
We had a beautiful childhood.
Right.
So in spite of the fracas and the way mom would get upset and all that, we had a very nice childhood.
There were still little rays of sunshine.
Yeah, me and my
Right.
siblings,
Right.
we really had fun. Like, we used to play what you call, we had all sorts of games, and maybe we are going to come into that because I don't want to be the only one talking. So let me not finish everything about Gen X. You tell us about millennials.
Well, okay. So, millennials, I find, is the generation that is currently going through the most. And I'll tell you why. Because we were raised by Gen X parents who were not allowed to talk back. So you gave us permission to talk, but you're still stuck in the ways of the past where you're like, discipline was the best form of retribution. And then you had these ideas of what you wanted your kids to be. So a lot of millennials are extremely academic because our parents wanted doctors and lawyers and engineers. So that's what we were raised to believe. If you do XYZ, you'll achieve anything you want.
Yeah.
In fact, actually, a lot of millennials I know we say participation is Gen Z, but millennials also, we were the beginning of participation marks. So anything you competed in, well done, you've competed, but with the element of, but you're not good enough, you can be better. So we are very competitive in nature because we have been raised to compete against one another. Our parents also raised us comparing us with each other. So our parents are like, oh, my son is this. Oh, wow, good, because my daughter is this. And so these are your firstborns. These are your older millennials.
Right.
And you told us, hey, you get very educated.
Yeah.
You get a job. You buy a house. You marry. You have your kids. Your life is perfect.
Right.
And believe it or not, a lot of us millennials had managed that quickly and early. Why? Because when we got into the workplace, we earned more money than you, substantially more,
Yeah.
right? Now, for those of us who lived overseas, like me, getting a home loan was quite easy. So by the time we were 30, we owned our house, right? 30. I'm married. I have my kid. I have my house. I'm very well educated, masters. And then we're like, now what?
After this,
Now
like
what?
it's like you've reached the pinnacle.
You've reached the pinnacle, but the world is still moving so fast. Technology is coming at us so fast. Our kids are so different.
Absolutely.
And believe it or not, we're now depressed. Millennials have faced 2 or 3 economic crises, because there was the 98, 2008, lockdown, technology, no technology, 9/11, like every major world crisis has been
The
hitting the
millennials have
lifetime of
been
our
between.
millennials. So I'm not saying the other generations haven't had major ones like the wars, right? So
Yeah.
boomers, I guess, are the closest ones to us as far as trauma goes. But millennials have experienced so much so quickly, and we're just expected to be okay.
And what about the okay, and maybe I shouldn't ask this before we talk to the Gen Zs first, but maybe when we come back, you tell us about millennials feeling pushed aside
Yeah.
for Gen Zs, like ignored or overlooked.
Okay, good. So you've had your millennials that have followed your blueprint and have not achieved quote unquote happiness, right? We are now in a point of excess information because everything online is just coming at us really fast. We also remember a time without technology. So we remember and we make fun of remember how long it would take for the internet to come out? And you play this sound of the internet and every millennial suddenly goes, oh, that's what it used to take. We remember all that. But then the same Gen X's also had now your last borns who are
Gen
Gen Z.
Zs.
And by the time we're achieving everything,
Yeah.
you're telling our last ones, oh, it's okay, honey. Be what you want.
Maybe this last one.
Before she answers, I'll
Yeah.
tell you, same parents,
Yeah.
same structure, because Gen Zs are not millennial children.
Yeah.
Maybe the older millennials, but something interesting about generations is the generations that stick on the cusp. So you have zillennials, which is your millennials and Gen Zs.
Yeah.
So like Stephanie, my sister, is a zillennial because she understands the millennial frustration and hard work and whatever. But she's just Gen Z enough to understand the freedom, or at least our view of them. They're very free. They're very open. It's very different. And then you have now your X and millennial as well, zillennials, who raised more the Gen Z, the older Gen Zs who are like, okay, we can do whatever we want, but they have a little bit of that hard work ethic of millennials, so they're also, and I
So
believe
they're caught
Shalom
between.
is there.
Right. I think for me, actually, if there's one generation I was to envy, it would be the Zillennials, because they are a picture of adaptation.
Yes.
They are a picture of, we have been able to go through what the millennials have gone through, what the Gen Zs have gone through, and we have come out smelling like roses. If there was one generation
Wow.
I look at, I'm like, wow, guys, you guys have been through it all and you're out like roses. So Zillennials, adaptation. What they look like to me is grit. They have just enough to be on every side.
Right.
They know just enough. They are knowledgeable enough to fit in any space. They can talk with their Gen X parents. They can talk with their baby boomer grandparents. And here they are with the Gen Zs. My goodness.
They fit in everywhere.
They fit
They
in. They're
fit in
little,
everywhere.
they're social butterflies. I mean, and even Stephanie.
Yeah, so that's Stephanie
I look at
is my
her,
best
I'm like, wow.
example.
Yeah.
Because as much as she's a millennial, she understands Gen Zs in a way like
Exactly.
I,
Nobody
for
else.
example,
It's true.
never could.
It's true. Like
Because
her,
she's
even
like-
her and Jay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, do much better
She
than
really
me and
understands.
Jay.
Yeah. So what about Gen Zs?
I feel like for Gen Zs, we were raised by parents who are Gen Xs. Now, our Gen Xs, as we have been told, have been exposed to so many different things, and they have become so tired of being told what to do. So they know how exhausting it is. Like Lady Bishop is saying, her mother would come, and we are just chilling, we're minding our own business, guns blazing. We are running for our lives all of a sudden, right? And I believe if I was in such a generation, I believe I would get tired very fast because I'm done being told what to do. So, of course, when my Gen Z baby comes, I'm like, you know what, honey? Do you.
Do it all.
Yeah.
Do it all. You can be anything. You
Do
can be
your
a lawyer.
best.
You can be an influencer. You can be a mama boga. Whatever you
Wherever
want
you
to
do.
be.
Yeah,
Wherever
do
you
it.
feel your sense of fulfillment. Now that is where Gen Zs have been raised from. Whatever gives you a sense of fulfillment, pursue that. Because at the end of the day, we were told happiness is the goal. They realized with millennials, from what I hear, have been given a blueprint
Yeah.
to happiness. They were given a blueprint.
Work hard.
Work hard, go to school,
Achieve.
marry,
Marry.
buy a house,
Get
you're good,
babies.
right? But we have soon realized, and we are looking at it now, that the blueprint doesn't work. There's no blueprint to happiness, which is why our parents were like, listen, whatever gives you happiness.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Of course, within because people are raised in different families. There are Christian families, there are families that are really just chill,
Yeah.
like whatever it is goes. But from me, as I was raised in a Christian family, as long as Christ is the cornerstone, as long as the word of God is your bedrock, whatever it is you need to do.
Do.
Your gift, if your gift is singing, your gift is talking on camera, your gift, do it. Because there's no blueprint. It's not, happiness is not a destination. It is a way of life. It's a way of being. You have to
Wow.
find it.
I love that.
Yeah, I think that's where we create a friction with millennials as Gen Zs, because millennials are like, how come
This one is doing-
these ones are not following the blueprint. They are not following, and they are happy. How can you be happy? How can you
At home.
How can you be happy?
With
You
not
are just
achieving anything.
You are just thriving. You are just here thriving, playing around, being what you are.
You're playing with life.
If I was a millennial, I would be frustrated. Because what do
Right.
you mean? What do you mean you are just
Sitting.
What do you mean?
You're quitting halfway through your degree. What do you mean? Because when I
We
tried
never
to
quit.
quit,
No, to pursue-
when I tried to quit, it was like, oh,
to
you're
pursue
not a
passion.
quitter.
To pursue passion. We're not quitting, because eventually Gen Zs who have dropped out of school, Gen Zs who have dropped out of university, university is not easy. We can all attest. Whether
Yeah.
you're doing a diploma, of course, I cannot compare a diploma to a master's. I would not do that. But
Clever.
for a Gen Z to be able to drop out of school, that is them pursuing their happiness. They're like, this thing isn't working for me. I am better at something else. And what I am good at, there is no course for. Is there a course for influencing? No. But it is one of the highest paid careers ever.
Can you imagine?
You don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
You just have to sit in front of a camera and talk about what you're passionate about.
Yeah.
And if you're learned, you are
wild.
making good money.
If you're learned.
If you're learned, you have a law degree and you're passionate and you have charisma on the camera. Hello. $1 million.
My
quickly.
name is
Companies
Vanessa.
Yeah. Exactly.
Come, let's talk.
Exactly.
Let me give you advice. on how
So
to know.
I understand at the same time why a Gen Z would drop out of school when they realize that, hey, this system, first of all, and we need to talk about how academia is not linking with industry.
Okay.
What we are teaching in universities, and what is actually happening on the ground, I wouldn't blame a Gen Z.
Totally different.
It's totally different. If we take a simple field like AI or cybersecurity,
Okay.
AI has just now begun being integrated into our syllabuses in university, but it wasn't there. So what
wasn't
do we
there.
do? Are we just supposed to study forever in a course that isn't going to help us in the next 4 years?
Wow.
Okay, so
No, I like that.
So that's an interesting perspective of thinking.
But
I'm
we
gonna
must
give you
go
the
back to Gen
millennial
X. Ebu talk, and then you leave me to talk
to
about
figure
our
out-
telephones.
Okay, before I get more serious, tell us about your telephones.
Yes.
Let's hear. Let's get some humor.
You
Before
know,
technicalities.
you know the truth is, of course, when we were growing up, we only had landline. There was no mobiles.
Right.
There was no mobile.
No privacy.
No,
No nothing.
no privacy, and the phone was there. As you're talking,
Oh, no.
you better talk some very serious stuff because your parents can hear. It's a landline. It's in
Right.
the living room.
my
Ours was in the
God.
corridor.
Oh my.
So my mother would lock the phone because obviously you don't want to pay too much money.
Right.
Yes, at
call.
the end of the month.
Yes.
And of course there was only one. It was called what? Telecom.
Telcom.
Yeah,
Telcom.
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 Ooh.
So it was just Telcom. So now my mother would make sure that she locks it with a big padlock with a, like proper lock. But we could pick it up, of course, and put it down. And of
But you
course,
can't dial.
we learned, no, it wasn't for dialing, Mama.
Oh.
It was what you call tapping.
They was
you
bougie.
you see, even now, you see, in every age, there is what kids will always come up with.
Right.
Yeah, you think you
Yes.
have them and you've caged them.
Oh, no.
And that they won't. Let me tell you, our
no.
wisdom directed us. So if say your number is 457270, you dial papa, that's 4. But you dial, you press it,
Oh, wow.
counting the numbers.
Right.
And guess what? Shalom will pick it on the other side. Don't play with
my
us.
goodness.
So mom has locked the phone. She's wondering,
Innovation.
how come at the end of the month it's still so expensive? We are saying these telecom people,
They're scamming us. They're scamming us.
very bad.
Uh-oh.
These telecom people. But we devised ways of we devised ways of working on it, and it worked very well. So yeah, and then what I love again about our generation, the Gen Zs, the Gen X, what I loved was that because of not having all these social media and too much television, and but we only had one channel, and it closed at a certain time in the night. I think it was 10 or 11. It closed and it just did
Static.
yeah, and then
Static.
and then so it was like that.
Right.
But what I loved was that we were creative.
Yeah.
And that's what I don't see with the now generations. We were very creative because we would play outside, which is very healthy.
Absolutely.
You know, when you're playing, there is grass, you're walking on grass barefoot.
Yeah.
They call it grounding. It's very healthy.
Right.
Grounding is actually healing.
It is.
That's what we used to do without knowing that we are actually grounding. All right. Then we would plait grass. Talk about creativity.
Creativity.
You know, I can braid hair more than anyone else.
So you say.
Oh my goodness.
Vanessa,
The shade.
I braided your hair for many years. What are you talking about? Anyway, whatever.
I believe you.
So braiding came from grass.
Right.
And then we played kalongo, which was cooking with teens. So we learned cooking. That's why I'm a very good cook.
From cooking with mud.
Mom, we would get a little flour from the house.
Of course,
and
must be
unga.
creative.
We made
You
ugali.
must.
We actually ate what we cooked. We absolutely did. We ate what we cooked because we would cook with tins. And tins. The tins that we throw away now, the cowboy tins, the Kimbo tins, we would always cook with them and make jikos.
Wow.
We would make serious ovens. Don't play with us. We would even bake. We would all manner of cookery. And then we would have chamamana chababa. That means that there's a boy, there's a man of the house.
Listen, you guys actually transferred that. I played that.
You did?
It's not
Yeah,
gone.
so
That
did
tradition
we.
is not gone.
Did
I
you?
think
Yes,
it's
I
gone
think-
now though.
Okay, it's gone now.
What about
Definitely.
Kati?
Of
I
course.
was a star.
Yeah.
What about
Kati.
Blada?
Bladder,
Of course, not
rounders.
What about rounders?
Yeah.
Rounders I played.
What about Bano?
tulicheza. Yes, Bano
Absolutely.
tulicheza.
Wacha.
Imagine those
Yes,
traditions.
Mulitoa Bano wapi nyinyi? You had Bano?
Goodness.
Yes,
What
you
a
guys bought
time.
them.
Don't talk.
Oh my God, Mom, I played Bano.
Which
I was
Bano
so good.
where?
The small little ball that you were hitting. Of course I did. And
marbles?
Patty and rounders.
Really?
Yeah.
You see,
You-
creativity is now being expressed differently.
But see, the
Exactly.
problem is now,
Yeah.
and that's why there's so much depression.
True.
It is because if you're just glued to your phone
Okay, screens.
24/7, it's
right.
just screen. It's a taboo, and perhaps we need to also talk about that a little. And that's why I was taking you back to Gen X,
Right.
because those were not luxuries we had,
Right.
but they worked out for our good.
But then, you guys had screens, let's say Gen X, and you did them as family time. So yes, you were raised without your mom and dad during the day, though they were very present in the evening.
Yeah.
Plus you were also raised in community settings,
And we were in school as well.
Right.
in school. I mean, like us, but what I mean is you were raised in community settings. So like you said, you had nannies, yes, but you had your aunties, and everyone was always so close together.
Right.
And then by the time
And neighbors.
and neighbors too,
And our
neighbors-
parents would beat our neighbors' kids if they messed up.
right.
Yes.
But try that today. Man, I can tell you, touch my kid and it's war.
Oh, yes.
I don't care who you are. Like
My
because
my
it
sister
changed.
was playing one day and a boy bullied her
Yeah.
and did her dirty.
Yes.
My mother came and my sister reported. My mother walked with my sister hand in hand to the boy's house. My mother thrashed that boy in the presence of his parents.
He couldn't believe.
And the parents were saying, Chapa kabisa buried.
They were edging around.
Because kids were literally raised by community.
Of community.
Yeah.
But for some reason, then when you raised your kids, you removed the community element of raising kids. Because a lot of millennials didn't necessarily grow up in community settings. Like, because then Gen X's made more money than their boomer parents, right? Not like you weren't crazy rich at the time,
Yeah.
but you are now more independent as families.
Yes.
Perhaps it's
Right.
because of how you viewed your raising. Like you couldn't speak. So now I don't need to raise my kid around my mother because I don't need my mother telling me how to raise my kid.
Right.
So now you've gone and you've started, but you still want your mom's approval. So you're saying, I want my daughter to be a lawyer, I want an architect, I want my whatever. So you still have that sense of accomplishment without that overly forcing us, right?
Yeah.
Because you guys all did the same thing. You were all accountants or secretaries. Like your blueprint was quite simple. Your career goals were
Yeah,
very
and
easy.
they were chosen. No, they were chosen
They
for
were
us.
chosen for you in
And it
school.
was a forced thing, by the way. Let's be honest.
Wow.
All boys were accountants,
Yeah, and all girls
and
were
all girls were
secretaries.
secretaries.
Of course.
You did not become anything else.
Or
They never
teachers.
allowed us to think
Right.
that we could be lawyers, and you don't find those old lawyers because
Right.
it was really at that time. It was doing law was like far fetched. It was too
Those
high.
hookah
Being
yeah,
doctor
yeah,
and
yeah,
all
yeah.
that, it was accountant, secretary,
Or teacher.
or teacher.
Or teacher.
So your careers were chosen for you.
So our careers were chosen for us. We didn't have the luxury of deciding
Right.
what we wanted to be. And let me give you this one. This one I have to tell you.
Okay.
So I finished school,
Okay.
and my mother decides. She went to a salon, and she thinks that maybe I can handle it because I like, those. So I go to the salon. It was actually the highest. It was called Beauty World. It was the highest. They're the ones who had come up with curly kits.
Ah,
So
nice.
everybody was curly kitting their hair and palm and all that. So
Yeah.
it was the in thing. So she takes me to this one in Westlands. And she tells them, I'm a teenager, I'm a young baby. She takes me and she tells them, okay, so you'll show her, take care of her and all that. So the first order of business, see me, I'm thinking now they'll show me how to palm, how to do curly kit, how to do all these fancy, nice things. I'll be very fierce.
What's the
They
boss?
give me a bucket.
Shock on you.
Hey! They give me a bucket
Yeah.
and water and a mop. And they tell me, get busy.
Uh-oh.
I hope you know my mother found me in the house.
I quit. I'm done.
I think you're a Gen Z.
I just hope you know my, my
You're
mother
born in the wrong generation.
found me in the house. She's asking, what happened? I'm like, Mom, you are taking me to make hair. They told me to wash the floor. I've never washed the floor in our house.
Oh, Lolo.
Me,
Whoa.
I never did. I wasn't brought up like that. You know, like
Yeah.
for real.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm not gonna wash the floor. I'm sorry. And I walked out.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
It's giving middle class. It's
Yeah.
giving bougie.
It's
You
giving
know.
bougie. It is
Giving
giving
bougie.
bougie.
It's
Because-
giving
Are
bougie.
you noticing a pattern?
I
Because
am.
Gen Z, the moment they realize something's not serving them, they're like,
Nope.
but that's not what we came here to do.
And you see, and that's what I was saying. I think mom is probably a Gen Z, just
You
trapped
know,
in a
you
Gen
see
X
the
It's just
body.
trapped in a
Exactly.
Gen X.
Because
You
you
see.
said you guys
Maybe
were not
that's
allowed
why-
to talk back. So how you had that ability to do that?
Oh, by this time, Mama, we are talking.
yeah.
By
By
that
this time,
time,
you
you know,
are-
we're
you are
not,
teenager.
not
Slightly
those
older.
Right.
small kids.
Of
Because,
course.
yeah, now
Of
I've
course.
finished from 4.
Of course.
Yes.
And so I think then when you had your millennial kids, you admired those higher class degrees, and you're like, okay, because I didn't get a choice, you guys need to be that. Also, it gave you bragging rights. And so you did that with your firstborns.
Bragging rights.
Yeah, your first, almost even your second. But then you saw, I think, the weight it had on us. Honestly, emotionally, technically. And here's one thing I think millennials missed out on that. I'm a bit kind of jealous, like with, let's say, Nia's generation and Z's. Education is now holistic. So if you're not good at maths, if you're not good at English, traditional education, they're creating other paths.
The
for you.
alternatives, yeah.
Like with Nia's school, they're working on their sports programs, but where they thrive is their arts.
right.
So your kids who are actors and singers, they really push a lot of energy and effort into them. Public speaking, I'm talking, they're doing public speaking from the first year. You
Wow.
know? Like they're
Public
pushing.
speaking.
Absolutely.
Fostering
It's a class.
confidence, yeah.
They're instilling confidence. Then you have kids that are very musical and want to just do dramas, and they really push them in that way.
Wow.
Then you have your athletes who like to swim, and they really encourage that. And so, I mean, they're trying to grow academics, yes, but they're creating and charting
That's
other
so
paths
good,
for
though.
kids.
It is.
Yeah.
We were not so much that way, eh? If you didn't know how to do math or English, you were an
You're
idiot.
failing.
You're failing. This
Failure.
one has no hope.
No, even us, by the way, in our growing up, they had a lot of that. You're
Yeah.
an idiot,
Yeah.
especially for math. And
Yes,
it gave me a
maths and
very,
English.
it gave me a very bad taste
Right.
for math because it was like you're a dandahead.
Yeah, you
yeah.
can't catch
Right.
this
You
simple-
can't catch. You know, you.
But when did we use Pythagoras theorem? I want to
Tell me.
know. These ones who are really
Honestly.
You
insisting.
tell me.
Hypotenuse. Why am I matching a hypotenuse, sir? This is not for me. You know.
Exactly.
But they really did make you feel less than for not
Yeah.
understanding, I guess, your core subjects, your maths, your English. And I'm not saying we don't teach them, but we grew up feeling less than if you were not at par with everyone.
Right.
Or if they couldn't place you, then you had a disease.
The concept
So-
that there were different learners.
Yeah.
They didn't know that there were different learners. Learners learn in different avenues. So like if you didn't learn with this straight line,
Right.
you're veering this way, you can get out now.
And do you
So
remember
Shana-
dyslexia?
Yeah.
Like, so my sister had a form of dyslexia.
Wow.
And so she wasn't getting things immediately. Oh my gosh, the teachers gave her
Right, yeah.
a hard time.
A very hard time.
And then the words also teachers spoke over us. Like me, everyone was like, oh, do you speak
Yet she was
Swahili?
the sharp
so sharp.
kid.
In maths,
know?
physics,
Yeah.
science.
The
Unmatched.
sciences,
Yeah.
A, very sharp.
But English, so they're like, oh, she's just really slow. But it was dyslexia. So
Yeah.
our generation were not really taught as well either. I guess because of Gen X's. Oh, if you don't understand this, you don't know nothing. And, but then by the time we came to Jeremy, and I won't say Steph, because Steph also had a bit of that millennial upbringing, actually a lot of it. It's just that she then understood Gen Z faster.
Exactly. She
But you raised
adapted.
her millennial too.
Right.
And the hard and harsh way. She'll give you her story, but it's true. you guys were very strict with the two. Well, me not so much. I was academic, but her. But by the time you got to J, do your best. I mean, Dad was strict academically in general.
Yeah.
But it was, but you can achieve whatever you want, son.
Yeah.
Right?
Grades
Me,
are not what
it's,
makes us love
oh,
you.
you must be this, but
You
you
better
can
do
do
it.
whatever you want, son.
Right,
You know,
son.
have your path, your way. You
That's
see,
how
and then now we have the Gen
we were
Zs.
raised. That's how we were raised. For me, I have been told over and over, grades are not what make you special.
Yeah.
Grades are not what define our love for you. Get good grades. We're not saying now don't study.
Relax.
Get good grades. But at the end of the day, do your best. When you can look yourself in the mirror, like when everyone else is gone, when the lights are off, you look yourself in the mirror and you're like, you know what? I did my best.
Yeah.
I did my best, and we'll see what comes out of that. That's how we were raised. So with the alternative, people are now becoming more aware of alternative ways of learning. The arts. Once you find nowadays, when you find your kid has more of a musical ear,
Yeah.
music class,
Go music,
sing,
sing, baby.
quickly, music class. We have instruments, we have sports, and I'm like,
Me, I was
this is
sportish.
it.
Like I said, I've said this.
You are athletic.
You know,
You could
very
have run for
athletic. I was
Kenya.
sportish.
Wow.
And I ran for my school and won.
You ran?
Listen, Shalom.
Oh my.
I was doing stadium running.
I'm so sorry.
I'm talking Kipchoge.
Okay.
He could move aside for me. I'm telling you, I was dangerous. If I
That's a
started
big
running,
deal.
you never caught me.
Of course.
All you caught was dust. Until I went to the city stadium and they said I was going to go to Mombasa Stadium. My father said, "Na lie.
It's enough
Let
now.
me tell you, you like jokes."
No child
He
of
said,
mine.
"I've never seen anybody run and become anything. Please." That's now our Gen X.
Yeah.
Yeah. That like at the arts. Arts. You're joking.
Which singer has gone anywhere?
Which singer
in this
has
life?
ever succeeded? So we were completely discouraged from arts. Yet that's my niche.
Right.
And that's where millennials are making a lot of money
exactly.
in the arts.
Yes.
Our musicians, our actors, they're bankrolling people who are good with tech.
Oh, tech.
Yeah.
Tech.
So
My
so
goodness.
millennials, no, Gen X, you guys,
Gen
Shalom,
Z.
Gen Z, Gen X, millennials, then whatever I call it, just
It's
answer.
okay. It's okay.
So Gen Z,
Yes.
you guys, you say everything is just being thrown at you because of not wanting to do stuff,
Or
feeling
appearing that way.
entitled.
Yeah.
And what is this thing about being entitled?
Okay, so first of all, what we mean when we say everything is being thrown at us, we mean, I mean, but I think I speak for many people.
You're representing them.
I'm going to represent you as best as I can. When we say things are being thrown at us, we mean there's a lot of how can you do this? How are you doing this and still thriving? That feeling, that there's a strange feeling that Gen Zs have just for existing. Existing how we were taught to exist by our parents. We were taught do your best. We were taught you do not have to learn only one way. You need to do what makes you happy. As long as you have your strong morals, you have your strong principles, you can do whatever you want. So now, I think people are now beginning to see how that method of raising their kids has turned out. Because now their kids are super hyper independent. Now their kids want to do their own thing. Gen Zs want to be in their own space. They want to be in their own space of creativity. Creativity is now being expressed in so many different avenues that, of course, millennials might not understand or do understand, but Gen Xers definitely are looking at us with big question marks. Like, what do you mean AI helps you to be creative? What do you mean AI helps you to be a forward thinker? It helps you to be better at thinking. That is what we're saying. There's so many things being thrown at us. We've not even started talking politics. We've not even started talking about the serious stuff. Just our way of being naturally is being, I wouldn't even say challenged, it's being rejected. It's being rejected. Now you see, for a generation that was told do your best, rejection, we are like, okay, why? Why is it wrong for me to want what I want? why is it wrong for us as a nation of Gen Zs? Because Gen Zs are taking over the population. Why is it wrong for us to question our president and for us to talk back when laws are passed? Why is it bad? Millennials started that movement, but now we've taken it to another level. To another level. We may not be all... Because like there's the education side of it. There's the education side of it where Vanessa here has a law degree. She knows actually what's going on behind the scenes. But I would say Gen Z is more of the voice. So with proper coaching, you can imagine what a voice can do. With proper coaching, with proper real coaching, you can imagine what a Gen Z will be able to achieve. With that voice backing them up, like, you know what? You have the voice, I have the knowledge. Let's make this happen, you know?
But
So-
your
But Shalom-
scenario is assuming that Gen Zs listen, and you've kind of explained.
That's where I was going, yeah.
Oh yeah, you've kind of explained that you don't. So the finance bill, we'll go into politics for a quick second. The finance bill for me is the best example of this discussion.
Right.
I think for the first time in, let's call it even Kenyan history, we understood what it was we were fighting as
Right,
Kenyans.
right.
There was a lot of access to the information. We did our research. Everything that was put out was taken in by people. We even went a step further, and I think this was a big push between Gen Zs and millennials, translating it in language.
Yeah.
That was the first time, I think, as a nation of young people, we showed governance has a way
Right.
to create possible great systems. But then that's where the buck stopped. You understand what I mean? Because we got our way and we were done. Now people are just angry for the sake of being angry. Now people just don't like who's in charge because we don't like him. And it's trickling down to our kids because this is on social media. And I have my little girl going, oh, you know, the current president is bad. And I said, based on what, Mama?
Right.
Oh, we're all saying it. And she, to me, echoes the Gen Z voice. A lot of people don't know what it is they're angry about.
They're just angry.
They're
Just
just
following
angry
the
because we've
news.
said we're angry. We'll talk about jobs. There's an argument of, oh, there's no jobs. The job market is hard, don't get me wrong.
Yes.
But you have expressed, which is happening, that I don't want that job. It's too hard for me to have that job. I don't want to start, and honestly, let's go with law. A lot of the first jobs you have, you're printing papers, probably getting coffees. I don't want to do that. I have a law degree. I'm educated. Why am I doing that? Yet it is almost a rite of passage, but people don't want it. So instead of saying, okay, let's work hard to achieve it, the system's broken.
Okay.
The workplace is not good enough. And so again, I'll go back to the Finance Act. For the first time, I saw that capacity you're talking about because there was education, there was unison, and people understood what it was we were arguing about. We were not
Right.
arguing for the sake of arguing. But what
Right.
happens is when you have a leaderless society, which was the Gen Z argument, we have no leader. You can't go nowhere. You had people being bought on the side. Everyone is now against the people. But this guy who made his deals, he's living life. Actually, kudos to him to go, okay, this is an opportunity for me to jump into. While the rest are now going, okay, what next? I'm not saying we stop. Please don't misunderstand me. It's good to put pressure on governments because that is your role as a population. When you vote someone in, it is your job to hold them accountable. Accountability must not lack. But I find the younger generations are sometimes arguing for the sake of arguing. I mean, going into funerals and cussing people out is ridiculous. It's not everyone.
Yeah.
But we've reached a point of disrespect, arguing it to be
Dishonor.
freedom.
In fact, we must come to the point of dishonor.
Arguing it as
Yeah.
as freedom.
Okay.
You know, you're allowed to
Yeah.
speak your voice, but not at the detriment of everyone around you.
And
I've
then
said
also
this before.
dishonor is bad. You know, let me tell you what I've seen, and especially with us as Kenyans, like there's a lot of dishonor and disregard for even the elderly
Authority or old
and authority.
people.
And there is no, the way God created us was to have an authority versus submission. Authority versus submission.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about
beneath or
beneath
below
or below.
control.
I'm talking about order.
Yeah.
The order.
Right.
It's like Christ
Right.
humbled himself to the point of death so that God could do what
You needed to do.
as the head.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are we together?
I'm understanding.
So it's not even in a place of abuse and stuff. It's a place of knowing that, you know what, this person holds an office.
Right.
I have to respect that office. Now,
Right.
if I have my grievances, I will speak them,
There's a way.
but respectfully.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Speak them. Say what you're aggrieved about. By all means. So don't like sit on your issues,
Right.
because that's another issue again altogether.
Absolutely.
But let there be respect, because at least when you look at Gen X, we definitely had to do that, like to
Right.
respect our older people, and just the fact that somebody was even older, you respected and honored
Right.
them
Just for the fact.
for the
that they were
fact
older.
as a culture.
That
And also
makes
it's the word.
Yeah.
You can't dishonor people, and then you can't be abusive. Do you
Right.
understand? You can't be disrespectful. You can't just speak anyhow.
But I'm just going to
Yes.
interject, Mom, because and a Gen Z has said this to me. Oh, just because you're older doesn't mean you know more. Gen Zs are very much of that opinion. Like they really said age doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So Shalom, I want you to interject that, because I've heard that from Gen Zs. Oh, just because you're older doesn't mean whatever.
you know.
And they're
Right.
so strong on
And
that.
and as Shalom is saying and being strong on that, let me say something. There are things my mother told me that I thought she was old Stone Age. I thought she was a dinosaur. Like you're so old you can't even, you have no idea.
Yeah.
Now in hindsight, I'm like, oh my God, she knew it all along. And that I'm sure there are things that I probably told you when you were younger, and maybe you can share that with us, being my child, that you thought Mama has no clue. And then you understood that I was actually very clueful.
like sleepovers. I'm not a fan of sleepovers. Anyone who knows anything about society today, perhaps maybe you'll join me or maybe you won't. Sleepovers are a no in my household. Mom used to say no to sleepovers, and I used to think, oh my God, you hate me, or I'm never gonna be like half my friends. But half the stories that have come out, have shown this to be true, because grooming tends to happen from people you know. In fact, most people who do anything do not look like monsters
They're
or
not
horrible
far.
or unkempt,
And
or
they are
whatever.
not far.
And they're never far.
Yeah.
So I have a very strong stance on sleepovers as well, and that's something you did. Also, no is an answer. Oh, that
Yeah.
used to finish me.
I had you telling Nia that. I laughed. I used to tell them, no is an answer. Like, I don't have to explain my no.
Yeah.
It's an answer. It's a full answer.
Right.
And they'll be like, Mommy, but why? Because no is an answer.
Right.
Right.
So I had her telling Nia recently, no is an answer. I said, yes.
I did something right. And that's something you get with age. So there is an element of wisdom coming with age. And I do understand that older people are not always right.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
there's still a respect of hearing their perspective, because perhaps there's something they know.
Right.
That you don't.
Let's.
And
okay.
Shalom is trying to answer, but before she answers,
No, I'm actually.
And I
I want
want
to
you to
listen to this
answer.
because
Yeah.
I've heard so much about it. So please.
and that's why I can't say this enough. The finance bill was the most effective use of generations, because we were then able to explain the act in languages for the Gen X's to understand our point. Because before the bill was translated for people in their languages by young people, the old people thought us reckless. So I think that was the most respectful way to handle that. So yes, older people, you're not old. Older people have some sort of wisdom, but times are changing so fast. And so maybe we as the new generation and you guys as the one right after us can bridge that gap respectfully.
Yes.
That's
That's all we're saying. And maybe Shalom, you can tell us about the dishonor.
Okay. Okay.
After you respond to everything else we said.
Let us unpack. That's a lot to unpack
Unpack
right
it.
there.
What
So
we have here is time.
Let's talk about the disrespect and the dishonor. I think for us as Gen Zs, it's more like, it's not even, you see leadership like you were taught, like we have been taught even in the Bible. Jesus submitted. Jesus had an authority over him for a while. The old shall teach the young. This is a principle that has been carried through over time. So with that said, not every older person is looking out for the younger person.
True.
And one thing about Gen Z is that we are aware. We can sense hostility. We can sense animosity even when it is covered in a sweet voice. We can sense it. Because most of the people you'll find are talking about the older generation. Just because you're older doesn't mean you know anything. Respect is earned, it's not given. And you are thinking, I have earned it. I have earned respect. I have lived this life long enough to know 1, 2, 3 things. I don't know everything. But as a younger person, we're like, but we can sense there's a little bit of condescension. Condescension is different from correction, like correction to the point of, I want you to do better. Condescension is more like, you cannot be like me. You cannot be like me, and
You can't
I
think
know,
like this.
You can't think like this. What do you know? What will you ever know? That's condescension. And that's where Gen Zs now, they're like, okay, first of all, we've not said we know everything. We are okay with learning. But at the same time, chill. Give us grace, because we're doing this thing for the first time. So that's how I would unpack the disrespect thing. The disrespect, I wouldn't even say, because I'm personally I'm not of that opinion. You are older. You've passed through, especially if you've passed through a field that I want to pass through. Whatever you say is going to happen, because I understand you have why you're saying that. But for the ones who are like, just because you're older doesn't mean you know anything. You don't know. Because let's be honest, there are a few things you don't know that we know, okay? But sometimes it feels like you flaunt it. Like you can't possibly reach this level. We have PTA'd, and we're like, but we are growing. Hadi sisi tunapitia. Hatutaki kupitia hivo. But like, we're growing as well. Just a little bit more of grace, because not every millennial is a good person. They're not a good leader. They're just putting you down for the sake of putting you down. And that stifles, like the way you've been. Let's bring it back to the education sector. Just the way your teachers are like, you're an idiot. You can't catch this simple thing. You cannot go anywhere. Just the same thing happens with Gen Zs. When you come now as a millennial or as a Gen X boss, let's put it in corporate, and you flaunt it in our faces that you can never amount to anything. You don't want to print papers. What good are you? You don't know how to do this intern job. What good are you? That now we're like, okay, hatujasema, we didn't say we don't want to learn. It's just that the way you're teaching us, it stifles. You know the way someone can talk to you and you just shut down. You just shut down immediately, because you're like, okay, there is so much hostility going on here. So there are two sides to every coin. There's the Lady Bishop, who Gen Zs are welcome. She wants to know what we are thinking. She wants to know what we are feeling.
I want them.
She is including us. She is giving us a voice. And then there's the other side of it, where it's like, Gen Zs don't even deserve to have a voice. What are they talking about? What are they actually talking about?
What do they have to say?
What do they have to say about anything? And we're like, we don't know everything. We'd love to get to know what you know. But the way you're saying you can never amount to anything, it's a bit
demeaning.
Harsh. It's a bit demeaning, and it causes someone to shut down. So when you find a Gen Z dropping out of school, or you find a Gen Z dropping out of work, like, I don't want to print papers. Is there anything else I can do? Is there anything else I want to do, something else that helps me not feel so small? Because at the same time, come on. We're coming out of university. We are coming out of high school. What do we know, really?
Yeah.
What do we know?
Valid.
No one has ever said, we know everything. We're
Yeah.
Gen Zs. We are the almighty. No. What do we know, really? But at the end of the day, as much as we want to learn and we find that this world is so big, this world is so big. That's why we are saying there's so many things rushing at us. We want to grow, but here it's saying you can't grow. Here it's saying you can't do this. You can't. What do you know? It is literally you're slashing down a generation by trying to bring them to a level that is under you so that you can feel like you can control them. Because that is how people think. Not everyone might, not every millennial, not every Gen X might think that. In fact, there are some who are like so pro Gen Z. They're so pro Gen Z.
No,
like,
they
listen,
are. I
they
think
are.
even this is why I wanted to have this conversation.
Yeah.
Because everywhere you go, even churches.
Yeah.
Oh, where the Gen Zs? Let's pray for the Gen Zs.
No, for real.
And I'm just like, okay.
And I know now prophetically, I know that that Gen Zs will really, really, really get born again.
Exactly.
And
in their numbers, they'll come to the house of God.
And we're looking forward to guidance.
Yeah.
We're looking, in fact, when we really look at it, we are looking for guidance.
Yeah.
We are looking for people to shepherd us. We are looking for people to mentor us. But when we immediately find there is this wall of you're so young. You are.
What can you know?
What on earth? What can you know? Really? When you find that wall, even you think about it as someone who's
So are you
19.
telling us that we should actually like give you space, like
Not
get
really.
to know you?
Put aside the limiting beliefs that you have. Try. What I was talking to a few people on Sunday, and I was just saying, you don't have to achieve it. Just try to put yourself in the other person's shoes. This is a child who's fresh out of university. They have a law degree. Like you've said, they're educated. Why are you making me print papers? Give them perspective. Help them to gain perspective. When you gain perspective, you accord grace. You see, now when you understand your boss, you're like, okay, my boss wants me to do this, because it just is a rite of passage. It is how everyone came in, they printed papers, now they are in the managerial position. We're not refusing that. It's just, it's a little hard when you find a wall already.
I think that you are very sober in the way that you are
even
considering
think.
this and the way you think, because I have been in a corporate space with Gen Zs who don't want to be told, who have no interest in listening, and who have sat there and said, I'm coming for your job. So before you even said hi, the disrespect has come.
Right.
There is people that, let me go back to degrees. Dad always said, education is not for a job, education is for yourself. And so you have a number of millennials, law degree and all, that are working in various areas. I know someone with a law degree who became a chef, killing it financially.
Right.
But now they're able to do their own contracts. I know some who are singers that now can manage their marketing, etc., etc. So degrees don't equate jobs. And I find that a lot of Gen Zs coming out are like, well, this is what I studied. Why am I not working in it? So they don't have that versatility to move on. And I don't know, let's give grace and assume that everyone is just saying, oh, maybe we're too harsh. But that's not what I've met, particularly in the corporate space. And like in the corporate area, some of the issues we tend to have with like some of the Gen Zs is dress code. I don't even understand how dress code is a fight, right? Because I don't know why you're coming to the workplace looking like you're ready to go to the club, calling it self-expression. I think we've lost that line of, I'll go back to calling it respect and understanding time and place in the name of I'm expressing myself or I want to be whoever I want to be. And I think that's where now a lot of us are stuck in. I mean, I want to like you and I want to understand you, but
You're making it really hard.
you're not making it easy.
You're making it
because
very hard for me.
time and
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
Time and place. I think
Right.
time and place has been lost along the way. And so
Because
let's
there is
even
a way
talk
you
about-
honestly cannot go to a corporate place.
All right.
in like a super
Like that,
short
you-
skirt
yeah.
and you know everything's out and you want to be taken seriously in a board meeting. I mean, come on.
They prefer let me say I am also a Gen Z.
Yeah.
We prefer to be taken seriously for what we can do, not what we wear.
Not what you wear. And
Not
and
what we
so
wear.
I'm
But
gonna
they go together.
But they go together.
They do.
Now you see that's where we're kind of veering away because as much as they go together, now you'll find a girl. There's this trend. There was this trend. It's over. There was this trend happening a few months back. Or is it last year? The office siren trend.
Yeah.
The office siren trend is now what Vanessa is referring to. The short skirts with the stockings, and they
Yeah,
claim that
high heels.
it's covered. We are wearing stockings, but how short is the skirt really? How are you going to meet your boss really? What is your agenda?
But the agenda is not the job. I want the top position, and I will
Right.
sleep my way through it if I must.
I'll do anything
So
I will.
there's also a level of I won't finish that statement. But I want to also talk about
Because
it
again, we go
spiritually.
back to values as well.
I want to talk about it spiritually real quick. You know, I say we go to churches and every church is Gen Z, Gen Z, Gen Z. Guess what? Millennials are the forgotten generation because who do you want to preach tomorrow? You want a millennial pastor that you're training.
Right.
But you've completely dismissed him in your discussion because I see the future as Gen Z. And I tell you this as a millennial. We have been boxed out of everything. The housing market, I said yes, overseas we afford it, and then now what? But then you come somewhere else and you can't buy nothing. And honestly, the ability to afford all that was the time. Because now after COVID, life has changed so completely that even millennials are getting fully boxed out of the market. We can't buy anything. And your Gen X is asking you, why don't you own? Own what? How? The mortgage rate, when we were buying, we were so lucky, it was 1.8. 5 years later, it's 7%. Have you earned more money in that time? No. Has your pay gone up? Absolutely not.
And you're expected to pay
But
all
we're
that.
expected to pay it off.
Right.
And
Now-
so the financial market is finishing millennials, and depression is at an all-time high because we can't get anything, we can't afford anything, we make more money. You always ask us, what are you using your money for? I'm like, honestly, groceries.
Because what else?
I'm buying food to eat. I don't know what
Right.
else to do.
Right.
We're staying in more. The market is getting hard. And why I want to talk about it from the millennial perspective is that we've reached a point where we're focusing so much on how to reach the Gen Zs and what the Gen Zs need. And these are the changes.
That the millennials have been.
And the millennials
totally
have
pushed
been
aside.
pushed aside.
Right.
And so there's that resentment that you're saying, we already now meet you as, oh, what can you achieve? Which is
There you
unfair for us
There you go.
to do to you.
There you go.
But then you're also meeting us as almost sometimes we're better than you. In fact, I've met a lot of Gen Zs who go, oh, you're just bitter because you had to do this and I don't. I'm like, it's not always the case.
That's not always the
but
case.
you meet us
Right.
like that. And now we have technology that has created a whole new avenue of careers.
The truth is,
yes.
the truth is,
Yeah.
and I think that's where we go wrong. Every generation needs the other generation.
Exactly.
That's where we go wrong. Because you see, you tend to think, before us was baby boomers.
Yeah, they bought everything. In fact,
Yeah.
the market crisis I blame on boomers.
But look, baby boomers, then there's Gen X, then there's the millennials,
Yes.
then there's the Gen Zs,
Yes.
then there's the alphas.
Alpha and beta.
You
right
see,
now.
all these generations need one
One
another.
another.
If
That's right.
they can find the way of working together without
Right.
thinking, as we are thrown away, these ones are overloved, these ones are insensitive,
Underloved.
these
These
ones are
ones are
underloved,
too
these ones are
sensitive.
You need to learn. Like now, I've just told you of how our background was. It was very different from you guys. Very different.
That's right, yeah.
However,
Yeah.
there are things we learned that have brought us to where we are today.
Right.
That if we teach you, we teach the millennials, they will really run with them
And
and
Z.
they will help them. And then millennials will need the Gen Zs as well. Gen Zs need the millennials, millennials
Yes,
need Gen
we
X,
do.
Gen X
Yes.
need the boomers, like that. If we know that we need each other, because let me tell you, have you ever heard the saying, old is gold?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Old is gold.
That's right.
And you don't stay young forever.
You really don't.
You don't.
Yeah.
You need to learn some wisdom. And I'm telling you, just a little wisdom. You'll be surprised how far it'll take you. So I don't think there's any generation that should come saying, as we know it all, we are good enough. You are too old to understand.
And I think that's where Gen Zs go wrong. We don't know how to ask for wisdom.
You see, that's
we
the
don't
thing.
know how to package ourselves in a place of submission where we are like, you really do know better than me. Wacha nimeze hiyo kiwaru
Yeah.
na ni submit. You're right. At the same time, what I always say, for a relationship to work, you must work it
Yeah.
from both sides.
Yes.
So Gen Zs, we need to work on how to package ourselves.
Yeah.
We need to honestly be more serious. Like, okay, how am I supposed to learn about this particular topic if I don't ask for help?
Yeah.
If I don't ask for help, there's no one who will help me and I'll just stay stagnant. We need to come to that realization. I feel like you guys also need to come to the realization of these kids really don't know anything. And the way they were raised, it was a bit, how can I say, not premature. It was a bit early. Let's just say premature.
Yeah.
You can do anything.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a pride. There's a little pride. So I understand what you're saying. We are the best generation. Like, we don't have to do the things that you're doing.
Yes.
We
You
don't have
all
to
are
work.
too old.
Yeah, we don't have to work so hard.
Yeah.
We really don't
But
have
real
to work so hard.
quickly, I also want you to touch on this as we're wrapping up
Yeah.
about boundaries, because back to workplace
Right.
stuff, I remember us chatting about how millennials will work until
They
midnight,
drop.
as in you get our boss can call us whenever, you know, but you guys will be like, it's 5 p.m. See
Bye.
you. Like, you said something the last time, and why I really want us to bring this up, because that was my gem from last time, and I don't want it to be lost.
Yeah.
Right. What I said was millennials will work until they drop. If midnight they still have energy, they will work till 3 a.m. Until literally they cannot open their eyes anymore, right?
People pleasers.
And we need to talk about it more as generations. People pleasing is a pandemic. It is a pandemic. To get into the good graces of my boss, I need to be available at any time. That is the only thing that can increase my value in this organization.
Yeah.
Nothing else gives me value apart from 100% availability. That's not the case. That's not the case. We were taught, personally, I was taught, when you create distance between something, that's when value is increased. When you're able to set boundaries, that's when your value is increased. You being available. I mean, think about it. When you're digging for gold, you have to dig for gold.
Yes.
You have to dig for gold. We already know its value. So the further it is inside, the further we are going inside. We
Yeah.
are finding it. But when gold is here on the surface, it becomes
Normal.
normal.
Yeah.
It becomes normal. Your
Yeah.
value is increased.
That's powerful.
Your value is increased when you can set boundaries. So that's why I was saying Gen Zs have learned how to place boundaries. It's called 9 to 5.
Yeah.
The joke says 9 to 5.
Yes.
The business books say 9 to 5.
Yes.
Why are we trying to make it 9 to
It
midnight?
is 9 to 5.
Why are we trying to make it 7 o'clock to midnight?
Right.
Yeah.
No, that is not the case.
Yeah.
We have developed spine enough, grit enough to be like, I have other things to focus on. I have other passions I need to pursue. This job helps me. For some of us, it is this job helps me get the resources
to do
to
what I
do
want.
what I really want.
Yeah.
This job helps me get the resources to channel now properly into what I want. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think one thing I applaud us as Gen Zs, and I would ask millennials to do, learn to set boundaries. That is what creates your value in an organization. When you know that, nani hapatikanangi at this time.
Yeah.
It's around 6
You actually
p.m.
respect that.
You actually respect. You're
You
like,
get
you
to
know what?
respect it, like,
Nani actually
at
so
this
and
time
so
they can't.
So and so they're with their
Yeah.
family.
Right.
So they
They are
actually
with their
respect
family.
your boundaries.
Exactly.
Okay,
At
you
the
know,
end of the day.
truth is,
Yeah.
I don't even think we can ever finish this conversation,
We can't.
even if we try.
We have to do it
because
again.
There's too many facets to this generational discussion, but time is time, and we must start respecting boundaries. So we say. So I'm gonna leave it here for now, and who knows? There might be a part 2 or 3, God knows. But I hope we've taken this minute to understand each other better, to understand generational issues
Gaps and differences.
etc. I know we didn't even get to technology with generations, so
We didn't.
I'm hoping that can be a talk in the future. But for me, as I say goodbye, I've learned that each generation is as valuable as the last, as long as we start to understand how we each work, because we're all very different, and that's important. What I've loved about Gen Zs particularly is the idea of boundaries. And what I've loved about Gen X's is that knowledge and wisdom that they've gone ahead, so they do
Right.
perhaps know more than we
Right.
do. And hopefully we can now merge all these learnings and be better as humans.
Right.
So Mom, you say your thing real quick, and Shalom, 30 seconds each, and we'll call it a day.
Absolutely. It's been a well of wealth. And so I thank God for all you guys, the millennials and the Gen Zs, who are my children.
Yes.
I have
Absolutely.
both.
You are one lucky parent.
Yeah.
You've been able to dip into every. Oof.
You mean blessed. So I've dipped into all of
Yes.
you guys.
Yes.
And I think you're incredible. I think you're amazing. I just think that all of you need to learn and to be, humble enough to ask questions
Humility.
so that we can be able to guide you correctly.
Right.
And you can also learn from us because that's the learning.
Absolutely,
Right.
absolutely. Like the way you do things so quickly. Oh my
Oh, yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
Work smart, not
The way you
hard.
find them so fast. Of course, we need to
Hello.
learn from you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Work smart, not hard.
Yeah.
Because not everything takes that much sweat anymore.
Absolutely.
Really, writing a book does not take that much time.
Right.
You can sit 5 years on a book. You can choose to sit 5 years on a book right now, but really you can have a book done by the end of the week. And that's it. By the end of the week, you are done. You are now
Yes.
working on another project.
You're an author.
Like, it is fast paced. But what I would say, what I have learned in this podcast is that you need to learn how to ask for help as a Gen Z. As a Gen Z, as a Gen X, as a millennial, we need to learn how to ask for help from one another. So you can only communicate love. For the other person to feel loved, for the other person to feel understood and respected, you must communicate in their language. You can't communicate in your language and expect someone totally different from you to understand. Okay? So for every relationship to work, you must work it. So if you know your Gen Z child or your Gen Z sister, whatever, has a particular way of communicating, why not just make it easier and just learn it?
Yes.
Learn their
Wow.
mode of communication. Gen Zs are learning from millennials. This is how they prefer to be communicated to. This is how I can talk to my Gen X mother. For every relationship to work, you must look at it from both angles. So that's what we need to do. So if you're living in a household like Lady Bishop, you have zillennials, you have a Gen Z, and you have a millennial. That's a whole lot of knowledge. We can all just be learning from one another here, and we can all come out better.
Yes.
So coming from that perspective, I think we stand to be such a productive society.
Yes.
Once we learn how to
Absolutely.
communicate love and respect
Yeah.
the way the other person understands it, not just the way you know how to communicate, but the way the other person understands it.
Yeah.
know?
And for me to finish this, as I say, bye, is let's not have a culture of dishonor. Let's understand what honor looks like. Because when we honor, then we shall also be honored.
Right.
And it is very important because God will not bless anything that's not, He'll not bless anything that is disorderly.
Right.
He blesses order. He's a God of principles. So if you dishonor, there will be no blessing. So let's be a culture of honor.
And with that, we bid you adieu. Till next time, thank you for watching Chat with Mom and V, and thank you to our guest, Shalom. We had a great conversation, and we'll see you next time.